Aloha and welcome to the Hawaii Parkinson Association Walk festivities, fundraiser, and oh, by the way, there's a grand opening today. Yay! We'll talk more about that in a moment. We'll just introduce more of our head table here, our broadcast table. We are coming to you live from the St. Francis Healthcare Campus in Liliha here on the island of Oahu. I'm Billy V. Opposite of me is Lisa Kubota, formerly of Hawaii News Now, but she's also on the board for Hawaii Parkinson's Association. And Jerry Boster is the president. We will talk to him in just a couple of moments. Presenting sponsor for today's event is American Savings Bank. Mahalo to American Savings Bank for being the presenting sponsor for the Hawaii Parkinson's Association festivities. Gold sponsors for this event are Parkinson's and Movement Disorder Center and Parkinson's Research Unit at Hawaii Pacific Neuroscience, Lundbeck Pharmaceuticals, Parkinson's and Movement Disorder Center at the Queens Medical Center Neuroscience Institute. Silver sponsors are AbbVie Pharmaceuticals, Acadia Pharmaceuticals, Adamas Pharmaceuticals, Amneal Pharmaceuticals, and St. Francis Healthcare System of Hawaii. Bronze sponsors are Abbott Laboratories, Accorda Therapeutics, and Medtronic. We'd like to thank our in-kind sponsors, Absolute Party Rentals, Big City Diner, Contour Spa Hawaii, McDonald's of Hawaii, and Menehune Water Company. And also, mahalo to all of our table vendors. Usually at the Parkinson's Walk, we would have all the vendors out on tables. They would have information that they would want to share, demonstrations. Our table vendors are Assistive Technology Resource Centers for Hawaii, Caregiver Foundation, Care Sift for Seniors, Compassion and Choices, Hawaii Medical Service Association, HMSA, Office of the Securities Commissioner, State of Hawaii, DCCA, Orthosport, Pohainani Services at Home, Senior Medical Patrol, State of Hawaii, Silver Wave Fitness, Soldier Home Bus and Mobility, Sounding Joy Music Therapy, and YMCA. One other item that I will share with you before I pass the baton is that at times you're going to notice that we are going to talk a little bit slower because it's difficult for us with the masks, which some of us are not used to. And for me, I'm probably the loudest one. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president of the Hawaii Parkinson's Association, Jerry Boster.
Hey. Thanks a lot, Billy. Appreciate it.
Thanks, sir.
Aloha and welcome to the Hawaii Parkinson Association Walk virtual gathering. 2020 has been a year of challenges. With the onset of the COVID pandemic, we had to move the walk from the physical world to the virtual one. I want to congratulate and thank each one of you for overcoming the technical challenges to tune in here today. I don't know about you, in January, I thought Zoom was something that Superman did in comic books. Now I'm all too familiar with spending hours each week in Zoom meetings and webinars. Way too many hours. Now that you're here, what's next today? First and foremost, we're going to introduce you to the new Hawaii Parkinson Association Resource Center. Really excited about this. It's something that's been in the works for quite a while. It's finally becoming a reality. We're going to talk story with some familiar folks. We're going to watch a premiere of the Tremble Tones Ohana music video and get to meet the songwriter as well. And we're going to give some prizes away. I want to thank all of our sponsors and vendors. Chief among them is our presenting sponsor, American Savings Bank. Their community leadership helps thousands of people each day. And no, I wasn't paid to say that. It's just because they are a great organization. Throughout the afternoon, you're going to hear from all of our sponsors in the forms of videos. A lot of people would call them commercials, but really, I call them a source of good information. Lastly, I want to thank all of our generous donors who have given us their hard-earned dollars. That we have exceeded our $50,000 goal in a tough economy is just tremendous and fantastic. your support to the Hawaiian Parkinson community is a bright spot this year. With that, I'll shut up and we'll get to the good stuff. So we're going to start off with a video that Pat Bemis and I made yesterday to introduce you to the Resource Center. Jay, take it away. Aloha and welcome to the virtual grand opening of the Hawaii Parkinson Association Resource Center. The idea of a resource center isn't something new for us. Back in 2016, the board had a strategic planning meeting. The moderator gave all of us crayons and a blank piece of paper and said, hey, what does the future of HPA look like? And almost everybody drew a building to represent a home and a resource center. So why a resource center? Well, when I was diagnosed, there wasn't anywhere I could go and sit down and talk to somebody about it, get some information. You know, it was all, here's a website, go over here and check it out. And that, you know, it didn't sit well with me. And so it's something I've been trying to fix over the last several years. I did about a year's worth of research. Everything I looked at, every solution I came up with, we had one major problem. It was well beyond the funding that we had available. So I just kind of put it back up on the shelf and just let it sit as I tried to nibble at it and, you know, save a little money here, a little money there. Then we got lucky. We had a very generous donor write us a big check. And the donor says, I don't care what you do with it, just do something useful for the people. And so the first thing that popped into my mind was the Resource Center. And so I started figuring out how we were actually going to make this happen. First piece, where are we going to do it? Now, we're going to meet Jerry Correa later on in the show, but he's a really good friend of mine. We have the same type of vision, and he was very welcoming. So I came over and sat down with him, and we talked about the situation, and he offered us a home. And it made a lot of sense for other reasons. We're also going to meet Dr. Corey Leao and his crew from the Hawaii Pacific Neuroscience. We're just steps from them. They're a major partner in both treatment and research. So this facility that is so fabulous, especially with the new Kapuna Village that Jerry's going to talk about, is a great place to have a home. We're just about there. So you're going to get to go in and meet a couple folks and see what the place looks like. But we're going to be able to take people here very shortly. So come on in, we'll take a walk, and you'll get to see where it's actually at. So here we are at our resource center. Come on in. So this is our resource center. This is our reception area. Introduce you to Pat Bemis. She's the HPA acting secretary and the manager of our resource center. I'll turn it over to Pat to give a little tour and some words.
Thanks, Jerry. We're so excited about this resource center. I wanted to take you on a short tour of what we have available. This is our kind of waiting room or reception area. And this room is going to be designated for research. Folks that are doing research, say at the VA and at the Neuroscience Center that's next door, as well as Davis Finney and Michael J. Fox. So if you're interested in research, we'll have up-to-date information available for you in here. Next, we have the Parkinson's Foundation room. And if you can look at this bookcase, we have so many booklets that are available to the folks in our association that will explain things in specific detail regarding maybe symptoms that you're having or some issues that you want to find more information about. In this room, we will be able to have our board meetings as well as information from a lot of our sponsors that help us with the walk, with the symposium. We'll have specific information for you to tell you about their drug and about some of the symptoms that you're having and what you can do about that. So folks, Accordia and Bresia and Abbott are some of the sponsors for the information that we have available for our folks.
We're back where we kind of started here in the reception area. So we just want to cover a little bit of the actual mechanics of what we're going to do. So Pat, when are we going to be open?
Well, we're so excited. We're hoping to be open on the 15th of this month. Our hours will fluctuate depending upon the needs, as well as our volunteer schedule, and we are looking for volunteers. So we will be having hours Monday through Friday, as well as accepting appointments. We're going to have the hours posted outside of the office door.
As well as on our website. But how are we going to treat COVID in the office?
We'll be able to take your temperature upon entering, and also we'll have hand sanitizers, and we'll have masks if you have forgotten available for you.
And we're taking the COVID very seriously because we are a high-risk population. I do want to say one thing to our folks on the neighbor island. This center is not just for Oahu, even though it's located in Oahu. So we're going to set up some technological solutions where you're going to be able to request resources from us, from everything from having a list of everything on our website to having what we call POTS, plain old telephone system, where you can call up and say, hey, what do you have? But we're also going to buy a tablet where whoever the volunteer is can walk around on Zoom or FaceTime or whatever and actually show you what things look like. And you can say, I want that. And the best part is, if you want it, we'll bundle it up and we'll send it to you at our cost. Because again, the Resource Center is free for everybody because we want people to have the information.
One of the best things about this is a place for newly diagnosed patients to come. And sometimes getting the diagnosis of Parkinson's disease can be extremely overwhelming. This is a safe place for you to come, talk about what you're experiencing and how we might be able to help you through this. We can connect you with support groups as well as literature and resources, and help you through the process of Parkinson's disease.
With that, thanks for taking our tour with us, and we hope to see you here soon.
Yes, please come by.
Wow, what a video. And it's nice to be able to get the doors finally open and the furniture in and everything.
Yeah, it's actually been a lot of work this week because contractors got out last Saturday and we started moving in on Sunday, and we've been here working all week to get to where we are, and we're really excited to get the first people in to start getting the information. So it's really exciting time.
One of our guests that's going to be interviewed is in the green room, and would like to say hello to our presenters as they are entering the green room for today's event. But we have a musical performance.
We do. As I mentioned in my opening remarks, the choir, which was a idea from Daniel Heathcock about a year ago, he came to me and says, hey, I want to start a choir. I said, okay, what do you need? So he says, pretty light, you need some music stands. And they teamed with the Windward Choral Society for the music, and they started singing. And I've been to some of their practices and stuff, and it was great, but then COVID hit and they all had to go online, which really is hard when you're trying to coordinate. But I've challenged them in a couple of ways. I went to Daniel and says, I want to do a music video. And he got excited. And I says, oh, by the way, next World Parkinson Congress in 2022, I want to take members of our choir to the World Parkinson Congress, where they'll be part of a worldwide choir.
Wow.
And so that's a challenge we have. So this is a step on the way. And it's really a great video. And it really gave me chicken skin the first time I watched it. And the best part is later on, we'll have an opportunity to talk to the songwriter about it as well.
Parkinson's life is slow motion. Parkinson's dark erosion no more. Frozen time is the feeling inside you when you can walk on the door. But when those meds start kicking in, when the meds start kicking in, I start to think of doing things I used to. meds start kicking in. And as those meds start kicking in, as those meds start kicking in, I start to think of doing things I used to when the meds start kicking in. Parkinson's, imbalance issues, driving daily to always live big, resting tremors and noises of laughter, singing and rest, a part of the game. But when those meds start kicking in, when the meds start kicking in, I start to think of doing things I used to when the meds start kicking in. And as those meds start kicking in, when the meds start kicking in, I start to think of doing things I used to when the meds start kicking in. Driving into new normals, entering into more than survive. Join us now as we sing out this journey. Parkinson's, along for the ride. But when those meds start kicking in, when the meds start kicking in, I start to think of doing things I used to when the meds start kicking in. And as those meds start kicking in, when the meds start kicking in, I start to think of doing things I used to when the meds start kicking in. When the meds start kicking in. When the meds start kicking in.
I tried to capture all the hip phrases in Parkinson's therapy.
It is. It's awesome, actually.
Give him a hand.
Awesome,
Thank
awesome,
you.
Leo.
Woo, Phil.
Hey. Good job. Awesome. All right, more coming up in just a couple of moments. As a matter of fact, our very first interview of the afternoon, Lisa Kubota will have that for you after this. Here's one of our gold sponsors for today's event.
I've never had NOH until Parkinson's occurred. So I think Parkinson's may have contributed to the subtlety of NOH. Before that time, I could move from sitting to standing without any problems. It was after Parkinson's was identified as the trouble I had that NOH started occurring. And then we didn't define it as NOH, we just defined it as you feel lightheaded or you feel like you want to faint. There's a tendency with Parkinson's is to blame everything on Parkinson's.
It's really hard to separate the NOH from the Parkinson's because it's so intertwined. And it's really hard to know which disease is which. And until you have some experience with it, it's kind of subtle. I was afraid I was falling because of the Parkinson's, and I was afraid that I was headed towards, really being disabled because of it. I was talking with my daughter in the kitchen about some of my balance issues, and she actually put the Parkinson's together with the NOH and really pushed me to see my doctor. So when I was diagnosed with the NOH, that made a huge difference. And I felt much better.
And we're back. Thanks to Lundbeck for being gold sponsor this year. Now we're going to be talking to somebody that's, I've come to call a good friend, the president of American Savings Bank, Rich Wacker. Rich, you out there somewhere?
I am here. Yep.
Oops. Had a slight glitch. I had to turn my video on.
Yeah.
Hey, Rich, looking good. I saw a picture of you this morning exercising with George.
Yeah. Sorry for my scruffy look. I just came from working with George. He's been the best thing. If you don't know George Ma, get to know him. He's a true ally in this fight.
Yeah, we'll be talking to George a little later on. Pretty excited about that as well. So thank you from my side for being the presenting sponsor and being a good friend.
No, we're thrilled to do it, Jerry. You guys have worked so hard to create what we just saw today. The Resource Center is a terrific new resource for us. It's great to see how long you've been working on it and that it finally came through. And working with Jerry Correa and the guys at St. Francis, you couldn't find better partners to work with.
Yeah, we're going to be talking to Jerry Correa here in a little bit as well. This place is just phenomenal in the resources that are here with them and Hawaii Pacific Neuroscience and Dr. Liao and company, because this is kind of becoming the epicenter of a lot of the research and a lot of the treatment that's going on. In fact, I'll be back this week on Thursday. I'm taking part of a phase 1 study of a new investigational medication. So it's a lot of exciting times here, even with all the difficulties going on.
Yeah, it's terrific.
Hey, by the way, a nice new campus. Saw it the other day when I stopped by. And
thanks. Yeah, it's been great for us, and we've been able to really bring a lot of our team together there. We can't wait for the virus implications that keep people still working remotely to subside, so that we can bring everybody back in and work closely together. But not only are we excited for that, it's what has happened, I think, in the area around us. So the Ala Park area, it's really a different place than it was before, and it's a good place to come out and walk around and get some exercise too. So we're happy to create another good spot in the community for people to get out and get active.
Yeah, I did gotta admit, I did pick up your brochure when I was there. And while I was waiting, I was watching your video that was rolling, and I think I watched it 3 or 4 times. So I could probably stand up next to you and sit there and do like they do on TV.
Yeah.
Kind of hear it,
so I'm sorry you had to watch it, and I feel bad a little bit for our security guys who are down at the desk there, and they hear that over and over. So I keep trying to substitute something else in for their own sanity.
I will say that your security guys were really, really nice and really helpful. So I definitely appreciate that. When I stumbled in, kind of looking around saying, not sure where to go, they did a great job.
Good.
So I have to compliment them on that.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just wanted to say again, thanks. Look forward to our partnership in the future. And you always know if there's anything we can do for you, all you have to do is just give us a call like everybody else. So.
Yeah, no, well, you've been a great resource. Thanks for your leadership and the rest of the team that are putting so much time and effort into making more and more resources available to those of us with Parkinson's in Hawaii. And we were happy to jump in. The more we got to know you, the more I knew we needed to do our part to support as well, both personally and through the bank. And so thanks for everything you're doing with the team, and thanks especially to you and Jerry for this great step with the Resource Center.
Thanks much. And I'll be probably giving you a call in the not too distant future to discuss some more events and some more partnership.
You got it.
With that, we're going to go to actually the video that you guys have that you made. That's actually a pretty great video. So thanks again, Rich, and take it away, Jay.
Thanks, Jerry.
Aloha. We are truly living in a time that we've never seen before, and it's changing everything, how we live, work, play, and even just get along together. Since this pandemic started, our ASB Dream Team has been working hard to serve the community, take care of each other, and most of all, be here for our customers. For me, one of the silver linings of this whole situation has been watching our team unite under our vision to help make people's dreams possible by delivering our financial services, our support for each other, and our support to the community. Over the past few months, we've secured thousands of Paycheck Protection Program loans for Hawaii businesses. We funded $360 million of loans for 3,400 companies, preserving 47,000 jobs. The well-being of our teammates in the community has been our top priority. In addition to all the things you would expect on cleaning, social distancing, modifying our workplace, and providing protective equipment, we are proud to have served more than 17,000 meals to our teammates, first responders, kapuna, and other community members. In total, we've ordered more than $220,000 in meals to support 94 local restaurants. With the help and generosity of our teammates, we've donated more than $329,000 to our Kahiao partners, local charities and support organizations that they can use in the way they see best fit to support their clients, and much of that has gone to COVID-19 relief. Beyond that, we've supported a number of community organizations that are working to provide COVID relief, masks to community members, and even hundreds of gallons of hand sanitizer to first-line workers and the homeless. We want to thank you for your loyalty, support, and your business as we work hard to provide essential financial services for Hawaii and support for parts of our community that need it most. I am convinced that working through this, we're going to come out a stronger, more resilient Hawaii. We truly are better together.
All right, thank you so much to American Savings Bank for that wonderful video. Up next is a guest that knows personally about the challenges of Parkinson's disease. American Ninja Warrior Jimmy Choi was supposed to be the keynote speaker at our symposium earlier this year, but he and his wife Cheryl will be making the trip to Hawaii next April instead. Thank you so much for joining us both all the way from Illinois today.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can. Great to see you
All
folks.
right.
You have such a powerful message, having been diagnosed at the age of 27. Could you just give us a preview of your speech about, overcoming obstacles while living with Parkinson's?
Sure. I mean, of course, as a Chicagoan, being in Hawaii is certainly going to have its perks, but the best part for me is always a chance to meet and interact with the Parkinson's community, wherever it is that I travel. Trading stories and experiences with people all over. I'm looking forward to really sharing my personal story. I'm also going to be sharing examples of how I try to live well despite having Parkinson's. And of course, sharing these lessons that I've learned having lived with Parkinson's by April, it will be 18 years. So I do have a lot to share with you guys, both visually and in forms of stories. And even though I'm only 45 years old, when it comes to living with Parkinson's, I'm usually one of the seniors in the room. So I look forward to sharing all that with you guys. And of course, I look forward to seeing everybody in April of 2021.
Yeah, anyone who's seen you compete on American Ninja Warrior, it's simply amazing what you're able to accomplish. Cheryl, could you explain the difference between a care partner and a caregiver?
Yeah, certainly. A care partner, for me, the way I think of how we deal with Parkinson's together is it's a partnership. So obviously you can still do all these amazing things with American Ninja Warrior, but when it comes to treating Parkinson's or managing his symptoms, we work with it together. So we partner up thinking of what's the best way to go about, even with all his crazy obstacles that he wants to tackle, what's the best way to manage his symptoms, because it's going to show up. So how do we do that the best way, but then also for his treatment, and positioning himself to be a part of clinical trials and getting a good education and understanding the latest research out there. So that's what I mean by a partnership.
Very important role you have, Cheryl. Jimmy, going back to you, congratulations on being a burpee world record holder.
Thank you.
How did you accomplish that? And how's the training going for your next world record attempt in push-ups?
Well, you see, the story with the burpees goes back a couple of years. I'm still a person living with Parkinson's, and I do have compromised balance. So I do fall a lot. So every time that I fell, I thought to myself, what can I work on in the gym that's going to help me be safe when I fall? How do I brace that fall, and how do I get back up slowly? So if you think about it, it's a burpee, right? A burpee is a controlled fall, and then getting yourself back up. So I started doing a lot of burpees just to get my body stronger, preparing myself in case I do fall. And what started out as trying to learn a survival skill became an opportunity to break a world record, just because I was getting better and better at it. And then, now that I have that record, I did a lot of push-ups training for burpees, and I came across another world record, but this time involving push-ups, that I believe I can break, and that is going to happen actually next week. Wednesday the 18th, so 10 days from now, Wednesday the 18th. And we're going to be live streaming it on all social media platforms, so Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok too, if you guys are on TikTok.
We will all be rooting for you for sure. And Cheryl, throughout all of this, you're Jimmy's pacer. What does that acronym stand for?
Yeah, it was something that to me it spoke to me as to what I could do with him, because obviously I don't know exactly what Parkinson's feels like, but I can do everything I could to help him. So PACER is an acronym. So P, we talked about earlier, is being a partner in his care in managing his symptoms. A is advocate. So I'm also a Parkinson's advocate. As you may know, we also hold our own fundraisers for Parkinson's research. So I am a big advocate in terms of educating others, making sure they're aware of what Parkinson's looks like. I think there's a lot of stigma associated with it, but people just don't understand it. So as much as possible, I do help educate. And then C is cheerleader. So he, as you know, he's done so many marathons and races and Ninja Warrior. I'm one of his biggest cheerleaders, being there on the sidelines, making sure I'm there when he finishes and help him out celebrate, of course, because it's an amazing feat. And then E is empower, making sure that, in all the things he wants to accomplish, help him along the way. What are the things we can do to make sure he can do it, whether it's working with his doctors, working with his, I can't be with the ninja in the ninja backstage, but his fellow ninjas know how to help him when he does get symptomatic. So just empowering him to do all these crazy things. And then R is repeat. So it's every day. It's something that we take on every day. So R is just repeat and do the same thing.
Real quick, before we let you folks go, is there anything else you're looking forward to doing when you finally make it to Hawaii next spring, besides connecting with all of us?
George knows.
Eating.
Really looking forward to all the food, all the yummy food.
All right, well, we're looking forward so much to seeing you both next year. Thank you for joining us today, and take care, you folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys soon.
All right, now to one of our gold sponsors for today's event and a close partner of HPA, the Parkinson's and Movement Disorder Center at Queens Healthcare System.
At first glance, Robert Fitzgerald is a seemingly healthy 55-year-old man. Running is a part of his weekly routine. But just a few years ago, running seemed like an impossible dream. Fitzgerald was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2006. Over the years, his symptoms progressed.
So I'm gonna check your stimulator, see where we are.
Dr. Machiko Bruno is the medical director for the Parkinson's and Movement Disorder Center at the Queens Medical Center. She says Fitzgerald's story isn't uncommon. Dr. Bruno says there is no cure, but there are different types of treatment. One of those is a brain surgery that changed Fitzgerald's life. Fitzgerald underwent the surgery in January. And while he's not cured, Fitzgerald is able to enjoy the little things a whole lot more.
While we're extremely excited about the grand opening of the new resource center, there are so many incredible things going on here in Liliha. Joining me now to talk more about this, Jerry Correa, CEO and President of St. Francis Healthcare System of Hawaii. It's great to see you, Jerry.
Nice seeing you, Lisa.
You know, with Hawaii's aging population, many folks finding themselves having to take care of a loved one and having some of those needs met are kind of difficult. Can you tell us what St. Francis is doing and the vision for the Kupuna village here?
Sure. This has been a vision that's been going on for 5 years now. Started out with the hospitals returning back to St. Francis, and the new vision of the campus focusing on seniors, focusing on senior services. We wanted to build a skilled nursing facility, an assisted living facility, and geriatric services throughout the campus. So we started focusing on that and focusing all the other geriatric type services that are needed. We realized as we were moving forward with that vision that we couldn't do it alone. We needed to have partners. Partners like the Parkinson's Association, partners like Hawaii Pacific Neuroscience and so forth, to fulfill the vision. And as we were going down this journey and putting all the pieces together in the Kupuna village, we discovered that the caregiver population was being very stressed also. Our caregivers that are taking care of their parents, taking care of their loved ones, we saw that. And so we started embarking on probably 70% services for seniors and maybe 30% services for caregivers. So as we were designing the campus, yes, we have a skilled nursing facility. Yes, we have an assisted living. But there's a beautiful courtyard outside. And how do we design that? How do we create areas in the courtyard where we can have caregiver support groups, such as the Parkinson's Association? We can have areas that they can use, because we wanted a place where some of these support groups could call home. 5 years ago, when we were designing the courtyard, I was asked by the engineers, by the architects and construction, how do you want the courtyard? And I remember walking with the architect and construction individuals, and I said, my wife and I just came back from the canonization of St. Marianne in 2012. And when we were there in St. Peter's Square, I was looking around and I was in awe. And so the way I'd like the courtyard to be designed is to get that same feeling. And the feeling was the Franciscan feeling. I want the sisters, the Franciscan sisters, to come in here and feel that there's a Franciscan presence. And what I was asked was, what the heck does that mean? And I said, there's a feeling of, in the Franciscan world, putting somebody before yourself. The sisters aren't over the top, so the courtyard can't look over the top. We really want the courtyard to be first class for the middle class. And that's kind of our mission, is to take care and go where the unmet need is. To create healthy communities, but really being Franciscan is putting others before yourself. So I wanted this to have a special feel, and I said, there's statues in St. Peter's Square, and I remember standing there and I was in awe. And the engineer said, "You want us to put statues on the top?" And I said, "No, I just want that feeling, And they go, "What is that?" So it was hard to articulate that. There's a calmness outside. There's a good feeling. There's a water feature that's flowing. And there's a bench that you can sit down next to the statue of Saint Marianne. And there's many people that go there daily and sit and talk story. That's a good feeling. There's pavilions that are set up so that some of the support groups can have some quiet time. So that's what we try to do here, is to try to create something that has a good feel. And then sometimes I refer to it as a Franciscan feel, and yet there's an awe about the place. One of our big partners, Hawaii Pacific Neuroscience, introduced me to Jerry Boster at the Parkinson's Association, and Jerry and we have the same DNA when it comes to helping people, when it comes to helping the community. And as we fulfill the campus, I look for partners like that. And so we've got pavilions outside where support groups can gather, where meetings can take place. We have an education center where we can have education for caregivers, as well as seniors, for active aging. How do we teach our caregivers and our seniors about the tools that they need to take care of their loved ones so they can stay out of the hospital? We designed a kitchen, a demonstration kitchen for caregivers and seniors, so they can engage in cooking healthy foods for their loved ones or themselves. And we're engaging with the community to bring in experts in various fields so that education can take place. One of the partnerships we have with Jerry Boster is to in turn use the facility and teach and educate the community. So I'm really excited about it, and it's been a 5-year journey, and it's coming together.
The spaces here are absolutely beautiful. I know the courtyard's going to be used for the symposium for HPA next year. Can you talk a little bit more about what services that HPA is going to be providing to St. Francis in this partnership as well?
Yeah, so when I was talking about the education piece, especially for the caregivers, our caregiver population, back in 2019, prior to COVID, we taught approximately 1,000 caregivers throughout the 12 months, the calendar year 2019. All kinds of subjects, from trust, wills, estate planning, to bathing services, to cooking demonstrations, dietary education, to how to take care of my loved ones my loved one that has Parkinson's. We would like subject matter experts like Jerry, like the Parkinson's Association, to use the facility and educate the caregiver groups that come in. So I see the Parkinson's Association being part of that education back to the community.
And having that new resource center located here, it's so convenient for the whole. I know some parts of the village are already open, being used. What kind of feedback are you hearing from the community groups?
I'm getting great feedback. Everybody's excited. They like the how this is come to play. They like the fact that this is a place where seniors can come and enjoy. You're familiar you'll get familiar with the services, the clinical services, but to have the social services on campus. some seniors aren't sick, but they're home alone. So is there enough social services here where their mindset, wellness is not just physical, it's up here too. So we got to create that environment, and I'm excited about it.
With Hawaii's silver tsunami, so many people in the senior citizen group in coming years, are there any other needs that we need to be aware of or that St. Francis is looking at?
I think it's all of those needs, and that's where we started with the silver tsunami. And as we started to embark on that and get the seniors coming in, I actually talked to a whole bunch of senior support groups, told them what we were doing, asked them if it was okay or am I missing anything. And that's when we discovered the caregiver groups. So that was, and I realized how stressful that is. And now we did a quick pivot, and we're trying to help as many caregivers as we can.
All right, Jerry Correa, CEO and President of St. Francis Healthcare System Hawaii. Thank you so much for all of your work. We really, really appreciate it. Mahalo.
Thank you.
And thanks, St. Francis. I'm really excited about, wait a second, the video and the voices. It's not right. I'm seeing Lisa. Anyways, exciting with St. Francis. We've got a lot of partnership stuff coming up in the future. So now we're going to go to conversation with George Ma. For those who don't know George, he's the owner of Lifestyle Fitness Training, who specializes in Kapuna and Parkinson exercise patients. You out there somewhere, George?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hey, there you are, brother. How you doing today?
Great, thanks for having me. Hi to everyone on that panel and everyone watching.
Glad to have you. Glad you're doing better. For those folks who haven't been following on Facebook, as George has shared his story, early on he contracted COVID, and it's a very important message that I asked George on to share today. So George, could you give us a quick synopsis of what happened and what lessons you really learned in your battle with COVID?
My battle with COVID started with my first symptoms in early July. So it was very early in the virus. So I didn't know much about it at that time. I thought I was fighting the flu. I started getting symptoms, like I was feeling run down, I was having dry cough, fever, muscle spasm, I lost my sense of smell and taste. Yeah. So I battled the symptoms, and I'm actually still battling what they call long hauler symptom, which is after COVID. So to today. So I ended up in a hospital for 12 days. And thank God that I am alive today, So that's pretty much my journey through COVID-19. But feel free to ask me any questions.
Yeah, when we were watching your videos in real time while you were undergoing your battle in the hospital, they're very poignant and very moving. And the one thing I wanted to bring out, you say you made one mistake very early on in trying to battle it by yourself. Can you say a couple words about that?
Yeah, so at that time, because it was still early in stage, I went to another gym to do my own personal workout. And that day was a celebration for most businesses. We were all open. We could go to the gym. So But at that time, what I did is I dropped my guard for 1 hour. I took a class and I took off my mask. And that's probably the biggest mistake I made. It was a really hard lesson learned. And at that time, we figured it out because I usually do everything right, especially working with Parkinson's, right? I'm extra careful. But so I knew that it was me taking off my mask for that 1 hour, and it was airborne. And so at that time, we were still washing our hands, and we were checking temperature. But the one thing that I should have done was masked up and protect my eyes.
Yeah, and how long did you fight it at home before you went to Straub?
That's another mistake, big mistake I made. Yeah, my fever, it ran through my body so quick. I fought it at home for about, I think, 9 days. I have no underlying problems. I'm a fitness instructor, healthy, never got sick before. I don't even have a primary care doctor. I thought I could fight this, no problem. And each day it just got worse and worse. So once my fever went up, within the third or fourth day, I should have checked myself into the hospital.
Yeah. And that was, in hindsight, it's always 2020.
Yes.
But you mentioned something that's very dear, and that's you do a lot of work with the Parkinson community as well as Kapuna. You've got quite a few of my friends that you beat the heck out of them on a pretty routine basis. And so we have something for you, George. Can you bring that slide up? We have named you one of our outstanding volunteers for 2020.
Oh, I am very honored. Thank you. Very humbled to see that.
I know people pay you to beat them up, but you've done a lot more for our community than just that. And so we wanted to recognize you. And we'll get this certificate to you, plus a couple of goodies that go along with it here in the near future.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for everything you've done for us, George. You take care of yourself.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a safe walk, everyone. And next year we'll be walking, not virtually.
Yeah. No, I look forward to it because you had a great team last year, so I look forward to seeing you out there again next year. That was fantastic. And with that, we're going to go ahead and go to words from another one of our gold sponsors, our friends over at Hawaii Pacific Neuroscience, who we spend a lot of time with working with the research unit and their Parkinson movement disorders.
Aloha, my name is Jesselyn, and it's my honor to welcome you here at the Parkinson's and Movement Disorder Center at Hawaii Pacific Neuroscience. Our specialists focus on providing a comprehensive approach to caring for you, your caregivers, and loved ones. This includes with providing you timely and accurate diagnosing, managing of core mobilities like depression, behavior disturbances, sleep disorders, gait disturbances, functional abilities for daily living, and memory impairment. With our interdisciplinary team and care pathways approach, we work with our physical medicine and rehabilitation specialists, geriatrician, and brain health, lifestyle, and wellness experts. Our team is trained to maximize your benefit through medical management, disease-modifying therapies, including IV infusion, and the latest therapeutic techniques, such as deep brain stimulation and botulinum toxin injections. Our dedicated team is here to provide you with excellent care at all 4 of our convenient locations in Kailua, Honolulu, Waipahu, and Kailua Kona. We continue to accept new patients and all Hawaii health insurances. To schedule your appointment today, call or text us at 808-261-4476 or visit us online at hawaiineuroscience.com for more information. Next, I would like to introduce Catherine and Alan from our Parkinson's Research Unit to tell you about the exciting studies that are happening here in Hawaii.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Jessalyn. Aloha, my name is Catherine.
And my name is Alec.
And we are the clinical research coordinators at our Parkinson's Research Unit at Hawaii Pacific Neuroscience. We want to first and foremost thank the Hawaii Parkinson Association for the fabulous work that they do for our community. It is our honor to be a gold sponsor this year to show our support, and we are so appreciative of the partnership we have with HPA.
We're excited to share with the Hawaii Parkinson's community 2 active clinical trials. The first is our Boundless trial. This is a phase 3 trial that is looking at a subcutaneous or under the skin infusion of the study medication ND0612, an infusible form of levodopa-carbidopa. Ultimately, this trial is looking to compare the ND0612 medication with oral immediate release levodopa-carbidopa. Unlike conventional oral medication, ND0612 is given in a continuous manner through a subcutaneous pump.
We are looking for participants who are at least 30 years old, diagnosed with Parkinson's, and experience motor fluctuations for more than 2 hours every day in the off state while awake. Additionally, we are looking for folks who are taking at least 4 doses a day of levodopa-carbidopa or at least 3 doses a day of Hawai'i. Finally, participants must have a study partner to assist in the study.
For our second active trial, we have the ANOVIS trial studying a new medication called Posifen. Posifen is an oral pill taken once a day that has been shown to lower the levels of neurotoxic proteins in the brain, proteins such as amyloid beta, tau, and alpha-synuclein. These proteins are known to contribute to the pathogenesis of Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease. And lowering the levels of these proteins with Posifen may improve cognitive and motor function. Posifen was created by the National Institutes of Health and is in its early phases of clinical trials. The trial is studying the effects of Posifen in both Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease.
For this trial, participants must be at least 45 years old, diagnosed with either Alzheimer's disease or Parkinson's disease, and like our previous trial, must have a dedicated study partner. If you are interested in learning more about our trials or have any questions, please call us at our research hotline at 808-564-6141 or email us at info@hawaiineuroscience.com. I hope you all enjoyed today's virtual walk. It was great to see you all, and together we will continue to fight against Parkinson's with Aloha.
Aloha.
And the great video from our friends at Hawaii Pacific Neuroscience. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm doing a phase 1 trial with them later this week. In the meantime, I think we have Jessalyn Lau out there. Jessalyn, you around there somewhere?
Hi everybody.
Hey, Jessalyn, how you doing?
I'm wearing my Parkinson's t-shirt.
Hey, I recognize that shirt. Awesome.
Yeah, it's a great shirt. Thank you.
Thanks for being on with us today. What I want to tell everybody is we have a great program for our neighbor islands. We give a grant of, this year it's $3,500. Jay, go ahead and bring up the slide. This is a travel reimbursement grant. And what this is meant for is for our neighbor island partners to participate in studies and trials at Hawaii Pacific Neuroscience. So if you're participant, we can't pay for the trial itself, but we can pay for the travel reimbursement. So while this is just a facsimile of the check, I will actually walk one over to you, probably the real one over to you guys this week.
Thank you so much, Jerry. It's so helpful, and we truly appreciate your amazing partnership and friendship. And we're excited. We can't wait to take a look at that new resource center. It's amazing.
We have one of the great things is we have a section completely devoted to the research. We have a big empty shelf. I know you guys give me stuff. I just haven't had time to print it out and put it in there, but we'll do that this week. Because we want
fantastic
as many people to participate in research, because research not only leads brings the cutting edge drugs and techniques to Hawaii. It also brings in important dollars too for our economy. So every one of these, you guys, how many trials you have going right now?
Gosh, currently we have, I'd say close to 20 active trials right now.
And 3 of those are for Parkinson's alone. So that's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks again, Jesselyn. With that, we're gonna
thank you so much.
And we'll see you. I'll see you Thursday.
We'll see you then. Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, everybody.
We're going to go to words from our next sponsor. Bronze level is Medtronics.
Aloha, this is Kevin Lockett. I am the clinical specialist for deep brain stimulation for Medtronic here in Hawaii. I'm the only full-time on-island specialist for DBS. We're excited to be one of the sponsors for this great event, and really excited to share our new technology for DBS, which was just FDA approved, including BrainSense technology. Please check it out. The website is medtronicdbs.com, and my contact information is available for you right there. Much aloha.
And we're back, and thanks again to our friends over at Hawaii Pacific Neuroscience. Now we've got the other research organization. We got Dr. Ross from the Pacific Health Research Education Institute, affiliated with VA over by the airport. Dr. Ross, are you with us today?
Yes, can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear, Doc. Good to see you.
Good to see you, and congratulations on the new resource center.
Yeah, we're really excited.
That's fantastic. And congratulations on another fantastic seminar, despite the pandemic circumstances.
It's kind of been an interesting evolution. This is the first time we've tried to do anything of this magnitude. For this, I think my biggest one was about 25 people. We got a few more than that today, so it's really great. You talk to us frequently about research and all the developments. What's the one biggest thing worldwide that's going on that's exciting for us?
So that's a really challenging question, Jerry. You gave it to me a week ago, and I've been racking my brain trying to figure out, what is the single most important or the single most exciting. When we think about, obviously for me, the most exciting are in the areas of therapeutics and treatment. And, we think about symptomatic treatments and slowing progression or preventing Parkinson's disease. And then we talk about cell restoration. And in the past year, there have been a lot of new medications that have been coming out that are different forms of levodopa, like you heard from Hawaii Pacific Neuroscience and that new trial that they're starting. Medications to block the breakdown of levodopa in the stomach to make more available to get into the brain, to medications to treat motor fluctuations, and these are in multiple formulations, that sublingual film and injection and oral medications and inhalers. And then new stimulation techniques that we just heard from Kevin Lockett in regards to deep brain stimulation and monitoring brain signals, as well as stimulating nerve cells, and then newer techniques using focused ultrasound. And then, for treatments to slow progression, there have been a lot of trials and the results have been relatively disappointing, but just recently there was an observational study that reported on over 100,000 diabetic patients, and they were followed actually, and the people who developed Parkinson's disease were identified, and they were able to show that those individuals who were on a certain class of diabetes medications that encouraged the release of insulin from the pancreas actually had a lower chance or a lower risk of developing Parkinson's disease than individuals not on those medications. And so those medications may be repurposed for slowing progression for Parkinson's disease, which I think is really exciting. But I think that really one of the most exciting areas of treatment in the past year in Parkinson's research has been in the area of cell restoration. We're all familiar with stem cells, and there are actually trials going on right now to look at stem cell therapy for Parkinson's disease. But maybe some of you aren't aware of some of the new findings in regards to converting other types of brain cells into nerve cells in the brain that produce dopamine. And this is really an entirely new area, and it takes advantage of the discovery of a protein in cells in the brain and elsewhere called PTB that actually is involved in producing proteins in cells. And it was discovered that by blocking this protein in a cell type in the brain called astrocytes, which are the support cells of the brain, that the astrocyte could actually convert into a neuron or nerve cell. And not only a neuron or nerve cell, but a nerve cell that produces dopamine, which of course is the chemical that's missing in Parkinson's disease. And so the most recent work in this area has actually been the discovery that Parkinsonian symptoms could be reversed in a mouse model of Parkinson's disease by blocking this protein and converting these nerve cells called astrocytes into dopamine producing nerve cells in the mouse brain. So there remains a lot of work to be done in different animal models, including primates, and looking at safety and tolerability in humans. But I think that that's really one of the most exciting areas in Parkinson's research.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. The unfortunate part is taking it from mouse trials and primate trials, and then the human trials.
Yeah,
we're still talking another decade before this actually would hit the market, probably.
Right.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Anyways, on to the other piece of business. We do have a check for you as well for PHREI for $3,500 for the travel reimbursement as well, because we believe in what you're doing there as well. So,
thank you very, very much. It really does help us with travel for participants in our clinical trials from the neighbor islands, and that really improves access, and we appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
And again, congratulations to you for a great seminar. It's just fantastic.
And I'll try to get the check to you before I see you the next time in person.
Okay.
Because I'm giving months away.
Sure.
Anyways, thanks much, Doc. And
yep, you bet.
With that, we're going to go to words from our another one of our sponsors, Abbott Laboratories of Ronford.
Great video there from Abbott Laboratories. Now, we all know the importance of movement and exercise to Parkinson's patients, and keeping it fun is key. Joining me now, we have Marie Alonso, a dance instructor. And I understand that at one point when she had to return to the Philippines, she was actually teaching her class at 3:30 in the morning in the Philippines in order to remain connected with her patients here in Hawaii. Talk about dedication. Marie, are you out there with us?
Yes, can you hear me? Yes, aloha. Technology.
We're all trying to get used to it in this new world. Tell us about this great program that you offer to patients.
Well, interesting enough, this is a dance program that I've been teaching for now almost 10 years. I started it, I learned about it when I was living in New Jersey, and we started a program in New Jersey. And it started really in New York by the Brooklyn support group there and the Mark Morris dance group. So it's very much related to dance. And I found out about it by reading an article on what dancers used to would do after being on stage. And one of them was this dancer from Mark Morris. And I mean, my father had Parkinson's disease, and so that was my biggest interest. What can I do with him, and also for that population? So that's what's that intrigued me. And I have been a dancer for a long time, a modern dancer. So I totally understood what that class was about, and how it could bring so much opportunity for movement, and approach people as dancers. Now that's patients. So that's the difference when they come into the dance studio. They're not patients. We know what they have. We don't have to go through it, but how to look at everyday movement in a different way, to think differently about movement. And that is the challenge as a dance teacher, to make them move without them realizing they've been doing all these moves all the time, but they didn't realize that they can put rhythm, they can put expression, they can put creativity, and at the same time they gain balance, flexibility, and strength. So it's how to kind of like navigate through movements and make them move. Yeah.
Are those some of the biggest benefits, the balance, flexibility, and strength that you were mentioning there for the Parkinson's patient specifically?
Yes, but also, creativity in a way that imagery that we use a lot, at least in my classes and part of the program. It's always creating a context for the movement. We are not just going to ask them. It's very easy to just open your arms and close, but if they think of the quality of movement, imagine your manta ray. So it gives another layer dimension to the movement that probably they can remember, they can recreate it. Not exactly like me, but they can recreate the fluidity of the movement of manta ray, or what about the dynamics of a dolphin down and up, but jumping down. So it may be smaller, but they will find that movement impulse.
Mm-hmm. What's the one thing you could use to enhance your program?
What I would to enhance it now at the moment, live musicians. It's so funny when I watch the chorus, I was like, oh my God, why don't we just start marching now? And they don't realize that they can incorporate a lot of that with live music. So, I mean, trying to find a live musician. In New York, we usually have a live musician, live pianist, and 2 teachers, but we don't have that yet. So, it takes a while to build up the scene and the classes. But definitely music is a very important part, to give it a rhythm, give it a quality, and giving a feeling to the movement so that it becomes a dance.
What's next on your personal agenda?
I am trying to finish the full certification program, because it's just by invitation only. After like giving series of lesson plans and videos. So I'm almost there. I just have to finish reading 3 books and writing 7 essays. That's all.
That's good.
Yes, but I would like to finish that, as to really understand the full spectrum of the program.
Well, Marie, for all of your hard work and dedication, we have a little something for you. We want to present you with an award for being one of our outstanding volunteers for 2020. We really appreciate all that you do for the community. So thank you so, so much. And we'll be sure to get that in the mail to you. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you. Oh.
All right, take care, Maria. And now to a word from one of our silver sponsors, AbbVie Pharmaceuticals.
The ultimate goal is to find a cure, but we cannot forget that there are people with Parkinson's disease right now.
When I was diagnosed, I had no clue.
And then you start meeting patients, and they tell you their lives and their struggles.
They're trying their best to go ahead and help us.
Every day that we spend at work is actually helping people.
You know, I'm living the life.
That's actually the best feedback that you can give us.
And we're back. And so we've been through most of the serious stuff, if you want to call it that. Now we get down to the end, kind of a couple fun things. First of all, I just want to say we have the total for all the fundraising. This was as of about 5 minutes ago. And everybody combined for $57,718. That is astounding. And I think it's most money we've ever raised, and considering the economic times, that is just such an amazing thing. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our acting board secretary, Pat Bemis, for the presentation of the team awards.
Hi, thank you, Jerry. I'm excited to award this gorgeous basket of goodies from Menehune Mac, prepared by them, to Team Mike.
Mike
Team
DeCero.
Mike is the #1 team, raised the most money of over $5,000. We're so grateful. Thanks, Team Mike, and all your
Almost 6, in
participants.
fact. That is so close.
Yeah.
And Mike, I'll be in contact with you to get that to you. There might be a small service charge, looking at the pineapple snow down at the bottom, which is my absolute favorite from Menehune.
Thanks so much, Mike, and your team. And then the second team that came in is Team Knockout.
No, Team Kona.
Team Kona. Oh, excuse me. Team the Kona Parkinson's Disease Support Group. You guys are just simply amazing.
Tom St. John's team captain.
Over $4,000 raised by the support group in Kona. And this is another beautiful gift bag full of treats from Menehune Mac.
Yeah,
so thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Tom. And we'll be in touch to get this shipped over to you.
And then the third prize goes to Team Knockout Movement Disorder, led by our trustee board member, Justin. And they raised over $1,700. So we're very, very grateful. Thank you, everyone.
And you guys, have you noticed the theme is Menehune Mac, great local company. If you get a chance, you need some goodies. They also partner with like 17 different local companies, great folks to go see. And a big shout out to them for partnering us with us on the awards.
And then the next big award goes to the team with the most members. And this goes to Team Sailor Blue. Yay! 37 members on their team.
Yeah.
So really way above everyone else. And you deserve these delicious things.
These are they're LaCoy sandbars from Menehune Mac, my absolute favorite. This year they put them in some beautiful tins. We're really excited. All this means is I've gotten pretty good over the last few years at twisting people's arms to donate money, but really it's a credit to everybody getting together and pulling together and just being really generous donors. So with that, we have another special for you. Earlier, you saw the premiere of the Tremble Tones Ohana music video. what most of you don't know is Mr. Phil Marks was the songwriter. And so Daniel Heathcock, the choir director, sat down with him and did an interview about the song and where it came from and what was the inspiration. And Daniel forwarded that to us. It was kind of a surprise when he told me about it, but I'm so glad that he did, because it's really a great interview.
Welcome. I'm Daniel Heathcock. I'm the founder and director of the Tremble Tones Ohana, a choir for folks with Parkinson's, their care partners, and anyone in the community that wants to join us in song. I'm really excited to present this interview with you. Stick around afterwards to learn more about the choir and how you can get involved. Well, hello. I'm here with Phil Mark, one of our awesome choir members in the Tremble Tones Ohana. And Phil has written a song for us today. Phil, tell us a little bit about your song.
I was humming the tune to When the Saints Go Marching In sometime late last year on the way to a support group meeting in the Parkinson chapter here in Hawaii. And I realized suddenly that I neglected my morning dose of Parkinson medication.
Oh.
I said to myself, if there's a way for me to remember when to take it, because morning is real critical for me, as with a lot of PD.
Right.
Medication. And so that tune kept going in my head, and I said I need them to kick in at this meeting. So went back home, got the pills, and drove back out. And I was humming this tune and putting some words to it. And that was the refrain that was created late last year. I kept it on the shelf, proverbially speaking. And then I thought I might want to do an educational piece, which was whimsical but serious at the same time. So I created a melody for some of the verses that came to be, and refining it and singing it to different people, and they're very encouraging. It's sort of an autobiographical musical piece. Some of the symptoms that I live with.
Okay.
I've been living with PD for about 22 years now.
Wow.
And I wanted to dedicate the song to my wife, my caregiver. She's all that wrapped into one person.
Oh.
And I think it's something that she understands fully.
Oh, that's lovely, Phil. That's very sweet of you. Tell me a little bit about, I was really struck, well, I love the whole song. I was really struck by the third verse. I think that came out later as we had been practicing it as a choir. I think the third verse you kind of came out with later, if I remember.
Yes.
And it says, living, thriving into new normals, each day given to more than survive. Join us now as we sing out this journey. Parkinson's just along for the ride. I love that. Tell me about that and why you came up with those words.
I think a lot of times, as I've myself gone through different ups and downs emotionally and psychologically, I think there's always been a need for me to take a step back and look at the progress, not in the sense of progress and improvement, but the coping abilities that I've been able to pick up, which are, I think, my victories in of themselves. And I wanted to write a verse that addressed that we don't have to be having a victim mentality and go around with our head down. And my head is down because I have a hunchback. So, but it's more of a song of affirmation, and life goes on, and we make the best of it, and that's what we call new normals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the idea of those new normals and thriving, right? And it's just thriving more than survive. I love that. Yeah. Well, Phil, thank you so much on behalf of the choir. I'm just so grateful that you would share your gift of song with us, your gift of music, of poetry, and we're really excited that we're able to put this together.
I want to thank you, Daniel, for your help in musicality and technique and just your experience.
Oh, my pleasure, Phil. It's an honor. It's an honor. I'm really excited about how this is going to turn out. All right. Thanks so much, Phil.
Bye now.
Bye. Thank you again, Phil, for sharing us that story of this powerful song that you wrote. I'd like to invite anybody who wants to join the choir to join. We meet the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month. We're meeting on Zoom, of course, right now, and we hope one day soon to meet together in person. But all are welcome, and you can find out more information through the Hawaii Parkinson's Association website.
I knew about the tremors, but when I started seeing things, I didn't know what was happening, so I kept it in.
He started believing things that weren't true. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't say a word.
During the course of their disease, around 50% of people with Parkinson's may experience hallucinations or delusions. But now, doctors are prescribing Nuplazid, the only FDA-approved medicine proven to significantly reduce hallucinations and delusions related to Parkinson's. Don't take Nuplazid if you are allergic to its ingredients. Nuplazid can increase the risk of death in elderly people with dementia-related psychosis and is not for treating symptoms unrelated to Parkinson's disease. Nuplazid can cause changes in heart rhythm and should not be taken if you have certain abnormal heart rhythms or take other drugs that are known to cause changes in heart rhythm. Tell your doctor about any changes in medicines you're taking. The most common side effects are swelling of the arms and legs and confusion.
We spoke up, and it made all the difference.
Ask your Parkinson's specialist about Nuplazid.
And we're back. And so we have one of our fun things left. We've got some goodie bags and other lucky drawing prizes to give out from our friends at HMSA Contour Spa and Menahuni Mac. So we're going to start out with a HMSA goodie bag, and it's, see if I can get it out here without killing myself. We've got a fleece blanket. There's a flashing light, some sanitary wipes, and some other things down in the bag. So our first winner of that.
Okay, shaking
them good.
Shaking good. And here we go.
And the way you got to be entered in the raffle was you participated, you donated, you contacted me, just about everybody in. The first one is Sonia Martini. Sonia Martini.
Woohoo! Congratulations.
Congratulations, Sonia. So now we have from Contour Spa, we have a free pain management treatment. So we have that here. And who's getting a free treatment? Oh, Wesley Wakamura out of the Japanese Chamber of Commerce, a friend of mine.
Yay.
Good job, Wesley.
Congratulations.
So now we have, let me see, Menahuni Mac. We got a jar with one of my favorites, Lilikoi Sandbar. So I know my name's in there. It'd be all right if you
Sorry, Jerry.
Oh, Jerry Yatsuda, another friend of mine. Happens when you have a big team. All right, Jerry. Call her my sister, Jerry. So, Jerry, I'll have to get in touch with you and get that to you. Next up, we have another HMSA goodie bag with the same things we saw earlier. So, this time, Nina Guerrero, Sounding Joy Music Therapy. Nina, if you're on, contact me. We'll get you your bag. So congratulations there. Now we're back over to our friends at Contour Spa with a free pain management treatment. And this one goes to, Daniel Heathcock, choir director. Daniel. Nina, I see you are out there. Wonderful. Daniel, great one for you as well. So now we have Menahuni Mac, a jar with chocolate macs individually wrapped. We've got dark chocolate cacao nib crunch. Yeah, looks like that's what the whole jar is. Oh, this one goes all the way to Florida. Paul and Carol Vavra, longtime friend of mine. Zoomy, if you're watching, you lucky dog. Jar may come empty on that one. Another HMSA goodie bag. We've got a green one this time, green blanket this time. So who gets the green blanket? Norma Kopp. Norma was one of our table vendors. Great job. Norma, if you're out there, we'll get that. I'll get in touch with you. Back over to to Contour Spa, another free pain management treatment. And this one goes to John and Kara Oshino. Congratulations, John and Karen. We'll get in touch with you so you can get that spa treatment to you. See, we're down to, the purple HMSA bag with the purple blanket this time. See who's the lucky purple winner. Gary Powell, Caregivers Network. Gary, if you're listening today, I know you're a busy man, but we will definitely get in touch with you and make sure you get your bag. And the last one, we got one more Contour Spa pain management treatment.
And the lucky winner
is Pamela Shiner. I'm probably butchering that. I apologize. Pamela, we will get in touch with you. We can get you that as well. So that pretty well brings us to the end, folks. I just want to say thank you so much for coming out and participating in our virtual gathering. We really wanted to bring everybody together and get a chance to provide some of the things that we normally do at the symposium or the walk. And with that, thank you again. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo for all your generosity in the almost $58,000 that we raised for the Hawaii Parkinson community, which all of it goes back to you. For anybody who doesn't know, the whole board, not everybody in the room, is just straight volunteers. And so all that money goes right back into the community to the people that need the help the most. Such a worthy cause, and thank you very much. Thank you to my co-host, Lisa Kubota.
Thank you for having me.
Billy V. Billy V had another commitment he had to move on to because everybody knows he's the busiest man in Hawaii. But with that, we will say good afternoon. And if you need us, please come see us at the Resource Center. It's a wonderful place. And with that, aloha.
Aloha, mahalo.
Behind the wheel, against the road, next to you, the Central Coast. The central thought within my mind is how to stay within these lines, but still be free. Beneath the ground, the giants sleep, and maybe we're just in their dreams. The setting sun with every turn. Above the ground, the oak trees burn, and they weep for rain. And for this endless conversation, instigated by the stars. A pocket knife, an old guitar, a coffee cup, a deck of cards. Kore kore, dashboard feet, the flashlight, children by the stream. Box of books, a book of rocks, one for the birds, one for the knots, that I will learn how to tie around this day to keep my life from sliding away from this endless conversation, instigated by the stars. Little wood to keep it burning, fascinated by it all. First away, we'll stoke the coals, the early morning river rolls. The last one in, the swing will break, stones will stack, the kids will make those lines. Rocks are boxing by the creek, again the lines begin to speak. Words are broken, smoke signals that will lead us into the light, into it all and always. Always in this conversation, implicated by the stars. Little wood to keep it burning, fascinated by it all. And always.
There's a finish line right there.
The road next to you, the central coast. The central thought within my mind is how to stay within these lines, but still be free. Beneath the ground, the giants sleep, and maybe we're just in their dreams. The setting sun with every turn. Above the ground, the oak trees burn, and they weep for rain and for this endless conversation, instigated by the stars. A pocket knife, an old guitar, a coffee cup, a deck of cards, core core, dashboard feet, the flashlight, children by the stream. A box of books, a book of rocks, one for the birds, one for the knots, that I will learn how to tie around this day to keep my life from sliding away from this endless conversation, instigated by the stars. Little wood to keep it burning, fascinated by it all. First away, we'll stoke the coals, the early morning river rolls. The last one in, the swing will break, stones will stack, the kids will make those lines. Rocks are boxing by the creek, again the lines begin to speak. Words are broken, smoke signals that will lead us into the light, into it all and always. Always in this conversation, implicated by the stars. Little wood to keep it burning, fascinated by it all. And always. watch you change the frame. I'll watch you when you take your aim at the sum of everything. But you and your heart shouldn't feel so far apart. You can't choose what you take. Why you gotta break and make it feel so hard? Lay there in the street like broken glass, reflecting pieces of the sun. But you're not the flame. You cut the people passing by because you know what you don't like is just so easy. It's just so easy. But you and your heart shouldn't feel so far apart. You can't choose what you take. Why you gotta break and make it feel so hard? Oh, and you and your heart shouldn't feel so far apart. You can't choose what you take. Why you gotta break and make it feel so hard? Draw so many lines in the sand, lost the fingernails on your hands. How you gonna scratch any backs? Better hope the tide will take our lines.